Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, April 5th, 2016, and we are here for an oral history interview with George Mason University Student Body President Khushboo Bhatia. My name is Emily Curley, and Bob Vey is assisting. We will be conducting this interview on behalf of the George Mason University Oral History Program. Our interview is taking place in the seminar room in the Special Collections Research Center in Fenwick Library at George Mason University. Thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So to begin, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you got to George Mason?
Sure. So I'm from around the area, Northern Virginia, born and raised. My whole family went to Mason, basically all my cousins. My older brother goes here. And so Mason was the school that I never actually wanted to go to, like bottom of the list. And my parents would always tease me that I would end up here. And then it became senior year and time to apply to schools, and I got into a few really good competitive schools, and so I started touring them, and then my brother actually brought me onto Mason's campus to show me around, and I absolutely fell in love with the school. There was just something in the air about the people and just the way that the campus felt and just the overall vibe was really great. And so then I actually started looking at Mason a lot more seriously, and then I found I got into the Honors College. So I got to participate in their visit day in the spring that they have, and then I just found that everything that I wanted to do at Mason, whether it be internships or study abroad or getting involved, I could do here, and I was able to. So I chose Mason, and I never looked back.
What a good story. So what were your first experiences like here? Was there anything that really stood out to you right away?
So I have been an on-campus student all 4 years. And so, just kind of like your basic freshman experience that you would think of, show up, you move on to campus, got to meet a lot of really great people, and I remember I think it was the first or the second day, I think, it was around lunch or dinner, and me and my suite mate were hanging out, and then we realized that, we have to figure out what we're going to eat for dinner. We have to start being adults and planning and figuring out our meals. And so that was definitely kind of like a, wow, this is happening kind of moment for me when I got to Mason.
Sure. So how did you get involved with student government? How did that begin to appeal to you?
Sure. So early my freshman days, well, I guess actually during orientation, I kind of went to the student government information session, and then early during my freshman days, wasn't involved in too much, when you just get here, but then I heard about the student senate election. And in my high school, we didn't have any kind of student government, student council, any type of student governing board or anything like that. And it just sounded like something that I wanted to try, and I did. I put my ring in the hat. I had a friend who was running for class councils at the time, which doesn't exist anymore. Right. But him and I kind of campaigned together. We got all our friends together, put together a street team. We hosted an event, and we just really kicked off, and we both got elected. And after all that work, I came in 9th. I just barely made the mark, but got elected, and then I stayed in the Student Senate for 2 years, and then I became the Chief of Staff, and now I currently serve as Student Body President. So it just kind of happened.
Sure. So what has it been like being Student Body President of George Mason University? And can you tell us a little bit about your campaign goals and how you connected with students during your campaign?
Sure. So being Student Body President is an absolutely entirely unique experience. No day is like another one. So it's kind of like they say, do what you love and love what you do, and you really have to be passionate about listening to students and representing students in this role. And so a lot of our campaign kind of goal, myself and my Vice President Ali, was to really make our campaign and our vision about the students and kind of bring that back to them. And so really just kind of focusing on a lot of different things from the student experience to bringing the off-campus population, kind of building community throughout, and just making everybody really proud to be a patriot. Those were really kind of the fundamental points of our campaign, as well as kind of, focusing on academic, as well as making sure our student services are actually serving the students and that the infrastructure can, follow our growth and stuff like that. So it was really just kind of about bringing the student experience to the table and representing that.
Right. So, we're definitely in the age of technology, and current campaigns definitely reflect that. So how did you and your running mate come up with the hashtags Progress for Mason and Progress for School?
So Ali and I really played around with campaign slogans for a long time because we just didn't we wanted to find something that really encompassed what we wanted to do, but also that connected students to that and really kind of focused on the bigger picture of Mason. And it took a few months actually, and then one day it just kind of came to me, and it really encompassed everything that we wanted to focus on. So students, Mason, and progress. And then we just kind of ran with it.
Do you recall any that kind of got kicked around but weren't a part of the campaign?
Something, we tried like bridging the gap, something like that, but it was really random and I couldn't make it work with like students at Mason and stuff like that. So progress for students, progress for Mason kind of became our go-to, and it worked. It clicked.
So what would you say are your most important goals for your term as student body president? And we're coming to the end of this semester very quickly. Do you think that you and Ali have accomplished these goals?
Sure. So over the summer after we were elected, Ali and I basically spent all of the summer working on our visions and priorities for the year. And so what we realized with this vision was that it's not short term and that we're not going to accomplish everything that we want to in 1 year, but we can definitely get the wheels turning and everything in motion for even when we're out of office. So after this term ends. So some of the things that we focused on in our visions and priorities, we focused on 5 goals. So the first was around kind of fostering a culture basically of student safety and well-being. And we've done a lot with that, actually. We really kind of created a relationship between our organization and CAPS, which is Counseling and Psychological Services. We did a What Do You Want Wednesday with them, kind of got student feedback on the services and shared that with them. So really just kind of bringing the conversation around mental health and mental illnesses was really important for us to do. And then I personally have worked a lot with sexual violence initiatives on campus. So last year, the president had his task force on sexual violence on college campuses and specific to Mason. And so I now sit on the recommendation implementation team. And so working with different administrators from campus and just all around have been really able to contribute the student voice and even kind of worked on a little initiative around creating syllabus language with resources for students. And we also, for the 2nd year in a row, student government hosts Patriots in Action, which is our week of action, which kind of corresponds with the It's On Us National Week of Action. And so we basically hosted town halls, had a video campaign unveiling, had candlelight vigils, basically anything that we can do to make awareness and help students understand that sexual violence is something that does happen on our campus, and what is there that we can do to help students feel comfortable reporting when this does happen and make sure that they know the resources when they choose to. So that's really been a really big part of this year, but only 1/5 of it, right? So along with that, we've really kind of wanted to focus on bridging the gap now between our off-campus student population and our on-campus student population. Because when you get here, first thing at orientation, what you're asked, are you going to be an on-campus student or an off-campus student? And right there, people have different mindsets and completely just put you in a box when it shouldn't matter because you're going to be a patriot at the end of the day. But really, off-campus students and on-campus students have different experiences. And so Ali is an off-campus student, so a lot of what we wanted to do was really kind of bring the two experiences together. And so we actually created within student government an off-campus undersecretary position that focuses on off-campus engagement. And so that's never something that we had, but it's now a cabinet position. And so we're hoping that can continue to grow over the next few years, but also just kind of being really proactive about bringing the off-campus voice to the table with administrators that don't necessarily always hear it has been really beneficial for us and has been really important to us as well. But along with that, also kind of looking at campus programming and trying to find a balance between programming not only appeal to on-campus students, but also off-campus students. So we've kind of tried to advocate for that where we can as well. So in addition to that, obviously we're in a time where there's a lot kind of going on nationally and in our campus. So campus climate has been a really hot topic from last year to this year. And so really creating a culture of dialogue that embraces diversity and our differences was really important for us too. So we've had a really, really strong cabinet with a lot of really great students that are really passionate about the work that they do. And part of that is creating dialogue. So just about 2 weeks ago, we hosted a campus climate and student safety forum, kind of trying to address what students are feeling, about our university. And we had many administrators from around the campus there that really helped and contributed to that conversation. But our Student Senate actually passed 2 pieces of legislation that we're hoping to take to the Board of Visitors in the May meeting. The first around kind of supporting the students feeling empowered at the university, as they should have every right to express their opinions and share that with the administrators, and that voice should be welcomed to the table for a large part it has been. So us as a governing organization have now kind of showed our support for that through a resolution, and then we also crafted a resolution around the diversification of faculty and staff. That's been a really hot topic this year as well, and so kind of looking at looking at the reality of where is our university doing well, but where can it improve. And so that was also something that we kind of try to take a little bit of ownership of as a student governing organization, just trying to say, this is important for administrators, and this is something that's outlined in the strategic plan and that everyone keeps saying that they're committed to, but we want you to know that for students, there's a different meaning behind this, and why is this important to us? Why does the diversity of our faculty and staff matter?